Green dials are all the rage right now, and we've got one of the rarest ones we've ever gotten in from Cartier. Can't wait to show it to you. This is such an interesting watch, and I'm so happy that we got it. This was a boutique exclusive to Cartier stores in the Middle East. So it's super rare. It's amazing that we got it here at SwissWatchExpo in Atlanta, Georgia, of all places. And it's an unworn condition. It comes with everything that it should. It comes with the black rubber strap, as well as this really beautiful dark emerald green alligator strap from Cartier. And of course, this watch, being the Santos medium, Santos de Cartier, it does have the titanium quick release switch system. I'll show you how that works in a minute. But I want to talk about the dial of this watch. This dial is just beautiful. It is a dark green that under regular light, indoor lighting, it almost looks like it would fade to black. But in the sunlight or any kind of direct light, it is such a beautiful green color, and it just pops. And it's so different from the regular green dial watches that we see from a lot of companies nowadays. And I just love it. It is such an interesting color. It's got a lot of blues mixed in with the green. So it's that kind of a tone. Cartier continued the theme to their cabochon, what they sometimes facet on the crown of the watch. Normally it's blue. The spinel on this one is the same matching green color. It comes on the deployant buckle, and it's an automatic movement. It's an 1847 MC manufacturer caliber in-house movement from Cartier. 40 millimeter square watch, really great size. It's curved with the wrist, just like the rest of the Santos Galbe series. But what's so unusual, the bezel on this one, it's a dark black, and it is the ADLC coating. It's not PVD. ADLC is amorphous diamond-like carbon. And what that means is that it is super hard, but it's also very scratch resistant, which PVD is not. Once you scratch PVD, you're kind of done because you can't redo that coating. Probably you would never have any problems with any sort of scratches on this bezel. And it really just takes up the look of the Santos a notch as far as it being a sportier watch that doesn't have the high polished bezel. Of course, you have the 8 signature screws showing on the bezel, which match the screws on the rubber strap. And one of the things that you'll notice, I'm sure right away, is that the numbers on this watch are not what we think of from Cartier, which are typically the Roman numerals. So this watch, Cartier has them listed as Hindi, but if you look them up, you'll see that they might be Farsi. So naturally, this led me down a rabbit hole where I had to look into it and find out what the story really was on these numbers on this watch, and the reason why they would be on a Middle East exclusive watch. So what's interesting is this numbering system was developed in India between the 1st and 4th centuries AD. By about 700 and something AD, an Indian mathematician and astronomer made his way to the court of one of the caliphs in the Middle East, in Babylon specifically, and introduced the numbering system that they had been using for hundreds of years at that point in India. And it was quickly adopted. It's so much easier to use a base 10 decimal point series where you could use it for commerce. And this was at the time when the Phoenicians and the Arabs were really transforming the world as far as trade goes. So they were doing lots of trade with the West, with Europe, as well as through the whole Islamic. This really was the golden age of Islam, and they really had the most advanced scientific and mathematical discoveries at the time. So when the Indian mathematician and astronomer came in with this numbering system, naturally, just like how in France they don't call French fries French fries, they didn't call them Arabic numbers at the time because everything that they used was Arabic. They called them Hindu numbers. So it doesn't mean that they were necessarily adopted or that they were part of the Hindi language, but that was just their designation. And interestingly, what happened was what we think of as the Arabic numbers were largely used west of the Middle East, and that's where most of the trade with North Africa and Europe occurred, using the numbers that we commonly use now and call Arabic numbers. But These numbers were typically used in the eastern part of the Islamic Empire. So they were used in Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, a lot of these Persian countries. And so then they became known as either Hindu Arabic numbers, or they were known as Indo-Hindu characters, or they were known as Eastern Arabic numbers, where the ones that we commonly use were called Western Arabic numbers. So it's all very confusing, and you're welcome to go down the rabbit hole and look into all this. But that is why on Cartier's website, they call these numbers Hindi numbers, because that is what the people in the Middle East who helped develop these as the Hindu Arabic characters, that's what they call them. And therefore, since this was a Middle Eastern boutique exclusive, that's what Cartier calls them too. So we've got them listed on our site as Hindi numbers. Maybe we should list it as Arabic Hindu. Yeah, there could be several other combinations. But nonetheless, the dial is really interesting because I've never seen characters like this on a watch dial. Cartier made the great decision to carry that forward to the date wheel, and all the numbers on the date wheel are the same Hindi numbers as well. One of the things I love about this, like I said, is the way the strap works. You can open the strap from the deployant buckle here. And if I can do it, it's got the triggers on the sides that I'll remember and open the correct way. It has a titanium bar. You just push that down with your thumbnail and that disconnects that strap. And then this one connects the same way. It's got the same titanium attachment. And you just come in from the back and click it in. And you can see how that would really change the look of the watch. I love this dark green alligator. It's so rich with that dial. And in fact, this is the way it's presented on the Cartier website, is on this alligator strap. You can see how flat it is. This watch is unworn. This strap has never been through the buckle. It doesn't have any bends or curves in it. So we'll just leave the rubber one on it for our display right now. But give us a call. We would love to get this watch out to you. It would be really rare and definitely a conversation piece. If you're a Cartier collector, you have to add this one to your collection. If this would be your first Cartier piece, it would be a home run for you to get this one instead of one of the more typical Santos models. I would really jump on this one before it's gone. I don't think it's going to take very long for it to be shipped out, probably this week to someone.